Hello, good morning, or good afternoon now. Ahoy there. I'm using a bit more of a subdued voice than normal because I'm indoors rather than doing an outside walk. I'm indoors, I'm in the Kuching Cat Museum. I spoke about it the other day and I said that I'd bring you here to have a look. And for once, I've actually held up to my promise and I'm going to bring you here to show you it. So here's the entrance to the Kuching Cat Museum. And as you can see, the entrance is in the shape of a huge cat's head. So it makes you wonder what the exit's like. Does the exit go into a cat litter tray shaped ball pool? But of course it doesn't. I've been here before, I know it doesn't. So we'll just go in. Here's a little fun item you can have here. You can come through, I've already checked if you can film and they said yes. So you come in here, stick your head through them, have your picture taken as a cat. Here's the gift shop. Now unusually, most museums, the exit is through the gift shop. This one, you start in the gift shop. This is what I spoke about the other day. As you can see, it's the artifact of the month. And as you can see, these are the artifacts. Now I wasn't here last month, so I don't know what the artifacts were last month. And I won't be here tragically next month. So who knows what next month's artifact could be. Could be a statue of Cat Stevens, or maybe Cat Slater from EastEnders will be in there. Who knows? Maybe they get big names like that here. Now a lot of the things in here, it's all very, very cat heavy. Obviously it's the cat museum. But there's a lot of things you think, well, why is it here? I quite like those old vintage ones. They look a bit like the old Babycham deer. And then over here, you know, when you're thinking, oh, what other cat related things could they have here? Oh, there's a catfish. Check these out. And at first, you know, when I saw it, I made fun of that a bit. I said, oh, catfish, but I quite like that. They're thinking outside of the box. You got some cat art here. Bit of a patriotic cat art. We got this. I'll show you some cat art in a minute. But and there's this dude. He's like some kind of sporting mascot. He's from the Kuching festival. He was the mascot. Now I want you to see this over here. You know, just hanging out. Two cats with their motorbike. This one can't believe his luck. He's got a brand new bike and he wants to show it to this older, cool cat with the sunglasses on. And he's like, yeah, check it out. Look at this. Check out my ride. And this one's like, yeah, pretty cool, but look what I've got. Then you got these two, like a Japanese cat there with his Japanese cat girlfriend. But it gets better. These dudes have formed a band. Now look at this. This one, he's like the older one, I reckon. He's a bit like the Nicky Sticks of the lot. He's a bit older, a bit more responsible, but he still knows how to rock. This one here, probably the looker of the band, and then this one's got his guitar around backwards. He can't believe his eyes. And this one, he's just really giving it big licks. Almost a flying V there, and a studious cat there. Duplicate from around the corner. They obviously like that one. And here's the drummer again doing his solo album. That's that drummer from that rock band I just saw with his distinctive tash. And he's just doing a little bit of work on his own there. Why shouldn't he? You know. Here's a naughty cat, messed up his bedroom. And the maid cat, well, I think her face says it all. And then we've got here, what you see is what you get. And what you get is a very grumpy cat. It's a really weird museum, but it's no less delightful for it. We've got those two cats who are in the band. He's a bit like James Hetfield. He's into his classic cars. He's bought that and he's showing it to this very nonplussed cat. He's like, I don't give a damn about your old beaten up car. Not sure what's going on in there. It looks terrifying. I don't like looking at that one for too long. But this one, on the other hand, I could look at all day. This cat here, Look at his face. Look at him. He's like, I can't believe what's going on here. I've just walked in here and you're having a cig. Just walking in the toilets having a cig. Can't believe it. I've worked this out as well. I've just looked at this. Those aren't his arms. And that's not his body. So if you're thinking, that's not fair, dressing cats up like that, it's not their bodies. I reckon these are dummy cat bodies. And there's a hole in the wall behind there and there. And they stick the cat's head through. And then it's on a dummy body. So don't worry, everyone. It's not cruelty to cats. I think these are cats' heads on a stuffed body. I think. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not in that line of work. And we got a playful cat there stealing a kiss. There's this piece of art here. That frankly, if I went in someone's house and that was in the living room, I'd be looking for ways out. That looks like something a murderer would have. But hey, you know, art is art. And we've got this here, but tragically, a mummified cat. And then some Egyptian cats there. Oh, well, I should imagine they're devastated. And then here's their slightly wealthier relatives. He's also tragically dead, but these ones have got a few bob in the bank and they've painted themselves gold. Well done. Here's more Egyptian cats. I'm not sure these really are from ancient Egypt. Did people in ancient Egypt print the word Egypt on the bottom of their artifacts? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a bright man. And here we've got... You're thinking, what's this got to do with cats? What on earth has got to do? Is that Diana Ross? What's it got? It's the catwalk. Do you see? And they explain it down here. Catwalk. A narrow pathway. Nowadays, the term catwalk is referred to the narrow stage jutting out onto the audience used in fashion shows. So there you have it, you see. They're covering lots of bases. They're saying, hey, it's not all about cats. Don't be crazy. We wouldn't open the whole cat museum just have it about cats, would we? No, we're covering it all. Catwalk. Look at the glamour. Yeah, think about that sometime. But no. And then just more cat order. A lot of this reminds me of things you'd see in a prize bingo. And possibly that's where a lot of it's come from. Someone's nan. This reminds me actually of a trip to my nan's house. If there was more smoking in here, flock wallpaper and swearing with Ken Bruce on the radio, it would be like a trip to my nan's. In fact, that wouldn't be a bad museum. The Nan Museum, where you could have pictures of grands, little quotations by people's grands. Mine would all be really offensive. And it's really detailed, drawn the hole on that cat's arms there. That's the work of the artist there, Thomas Stearns Eliot. Oh, T.S. Eliot, what a fool. I mean, he didn't draw that. Disturbing. You know, I think a Nan's museum might be a good idea. I might see if I can get some lottery funding for that, if that still exists. And we've got just more objet de cat. In here is a bit more highbrow, because this is all like, I think this is all by one person. One-eyed cat. But it's not called One-eyed Cat, it's called The Day After Tomorrow. This one's called Tomorrow. This one's called Yesterday. Ah, I've got a theme going here. Let's guess what the next one's called. It's Today. Right. Oh, and of course, the big fella's there. No cat museum would be complete without a couple of pictures of tigers. Sounds like I'm making fun of this place, but I'm not. I'm having a light-hearted... Oh look, there's a load of like cat posters. What did you call these? I know they sold them in Athena, but motivational posters. So here's an old British Telecom poster. Give a friend a ring if you've been away. I don't get it. It's the Owl and the Pussycat went to see that, but that wasn't about getting in touch with people, was it? That was about going to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. And we got, a friend is one who comes in when the whole world has gone out. That's not been the case in my case. Does God seem far away? Well, guess who moved? The cat. So here's a chimp, and we all know what they're capable of. Holding that poor cat, and it says, "Agree with me now, it will save so much time." That's deeply threatening, isn't it? Again, if you went into someone's house and saw that, I'd suggest getting out of there. And there's, faith isn't faith until it's all you're holding on to. Very religious, these cats, very religious. Homework, yuck. And this one, he can't believe he's laughing, he's just looking up at whatever and saying, "Thank you, Lord." He's probably just escaped that chimp. And then you've got these two, a bit bedraggled, saying, "This is a trying period for us. We're trying to avoid studying." What would a cat be studying? How to avoid errant chimps. This one says, "Nothing improves my hearing better than pray." The 80s were a strange time, weren't they? I had a relative that had one just like that, and it had a top of the stairs, and it said, "Every journey starts with a single step," and it was a cat asleep. I think they just took pictures of cats and wrote any phrase on them. Now we're into the cats in the cinema, cats in theatre and cinema posters. So there we go, we got Diamonds Are Forever. And there's the villain with his cat. Yeah, you're thinking, what's the point in this? I haven't got a cat. No, Mr. Bond, but I have a cat. So it's, and there's Alien. Again, you're thinking, but of course there was a cat in Alien. They never gave it its own film afterwards. And then there's a load of cat related. Some of these films I've never heard of. Walt Disney's The Jungle Cat, never heard of that. Aristocats, obviously I've heard of. Cat Low, never heard of that. And I like films. Curse of the Cat People, I have heard of that. Here's one, a Burt Reynolds film. I like Burt Reynolds. And this is called The Man Who Loved Cat Dancing. I've never heard of that. Do you think they made it up for this? Because that doesn't really look like Burt Reynolds. Well, I suppose it does. And then there's Track of the Cat with our Robert Mitchum. Surprised there's not that Roger Moore one, North Sea Rescue. There's cats in that, and he plays like an aristocrat who's going to rob some kind of oil rig. And there's a line in it where he says, "I like cats and I don't like people who don't." But no mention of that in here. And then there's just more cat art. Night of 1,000 Cats. They should put a little cinema in here showing little clips of cat films. Or Bloody Cat, the bloody musical. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Oh, I saw it once. Felt like more, but I did see it once. Then we've got a picture of a cat who's very proud of himself, having made a wedding cake. That actually does look like he's made that. That looks quite convincing. And then a very fancy cat there. 3 cats in a basket. Obviously, you were all wondering it all along. The Garfield. I mean, look at that. It looks like he's been beaten up. I mean, if you like cats, I don't dislike cats. If you like cats are your thing, then get yourself down here to the Kuching Cat Museum. Because it really is something. It's like a cross between a museum, a Grand's house, and a prize bingo. But you're thinking, surely they're going to hold the best till last. And you'd be right. They have. Because look at these big statues here of the most depressed looking cats you've ever seen. They look like they're on some kind of antipsychotic drug. I mean, they're quite big. They're about 5.5 feet tall, these. This one here, he looks like he's seen some things and he's just trying to distance himself. Disassociation, that's the key. Then there's some taxidermised cats, which at first, when I saw them, I thought, I reckon I could do a better job than that. But then I saw what cats they've come from, and it's not a tabby or a house cat. So maybe they do look more like they're supposed to. And that is about it. There's hang on a minute. That's a crocodile. What's he doing in it? That doesn't work. It's a leopard with Superman's emblem on it. More taxidermised cats, which do give me the creeps. I mean, it looks a bit like it's come from outer space, that one. And that's about it. You come in, you do a loop. You come back out by the gift shop again. I'll come back in a minute and buy something off them, to be fair. That looks like it's probably at the front of a card shop or something. And then you don't leave via the back of the cat, you go back out the way you came in. Which again, I think they're missing a trick. If you came out through a hole in the wall and you fell into a ball pool of, looking like a giant cat litter tray, kids would love that. I know I would. But they don't, they just have you walk out through the way you came in. I'll show you out the front, because they've got more of those great big statues of cats out here. So if you're into that, get yourself down here, and then there's another couple of them over here lurking in the bushes. And then there's this that I quite like. Not cat related, I just quite like it. The other thing with this building is, inexplicably, it's brilliant. The building itself is absolutely brilliant. And it's one of the buildings I was telling you about that looks like it's from a Bond film, like a Bond villain's lair. And to complete, they've got quite big fish knocking around in this pond. A smoke effect going across this. I quite like that. That reminds me of a boat trip I went on in Greece, where this woman sat next to me throughout the whole boat trip, smoking a full pack of 20 full-strength Marlboros. And I was sick over the side of the boat eventually. It was absolutely horrific. It was one of the worst day trips I've ever had. But I do like a boat trip, and it was quite nice. And it's lovely up here. The grounds that this place is kept in are absolutely stunning. It's so weird. They build this place. Got some little flamingos in there. No smoke effect on this. They obviously spunked all the budget up on the one over there. But the view from up here is quite high up, so it's got a great view. The grounds are immaculate. It's just so what it strikes me that they built this building. I'll show it to you in a second. That you can see from all over Kuching. Like from where I'm staying over there, it's like the first thing you see in the morning. And I'm not saying don't have a cat museum, but it just strikes me odd that they could have something else in there as well to make the most of this building. But on the other hand, it sounds like I'm making fun of this, and I'm really not, because it's easy to make fun of it and go, oh, look at a load of cats, which I was doing. But then when you think about it, someone, and I don't know who it is, somewhere, likes cats enough that they've said, that's my passion. My passion is cats. I love cats. I want a cat museum, and I'm bloody doing it. And they've just, with catted determination, they've stuck to it and said, no, I'm going to build a cat museum. I'm going to put it in there. In this great big 1950s looking futuristic Bond villain-esque lair. And I don't care what anyone says. And I bet all their friends were saying, don't do that. Just, it's a waste of time and money. No one cares. And they were like, no, screw you. I like cats. I want a cat museum. This is probably not true, by the way. None of this has got any research to it. Just like everything else I say. But that's what I like to think. That someone somewhere said, I want a cat museum. Screw you. And I'm doing it. And I think we could all learn something from that. He's gone out there, or she's gone out there and said, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm going to get the funding. I'm going to build the building. That's where it's going to be. Up here. I mean, look at this view. You've got mountains in the distance, palm trees. You can see all the way over Kuching. I really like it here. I admire and respect whoever came up with the idea to do that. They love cats here anyway, so it would have been an easy sell to turn up at the local council or whoever and say, we haven't got a cat museum. I reckon they were in like Flynn. But fair play to them. They've done really well. Who donates all that stuff? I don't know. Maybe all the nanas around here got together and said, oh, I've got a load of cat crap you can have. Who knows? But they did it. Well done to them. It's my last day here. I'm going back to India tomorrow and I'm really sad to be leaving it. I love it here. I will be coming back, and my next video I'll take you down to Old Delhi and we'll have a look about round there early morning as it's setting up. I think you might like it. We'll have a look. It's a bit chaotic, but it's certainly different to here, so we'll have a look. So thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you feel like it. And until next time, thanks again, and walk tall. Hey, hey!